Hey guys, welcome. This is our review video. Let's get started. And here we go. This is the practice one mid-test. I'm going to go through all these questions right now, so hopefully you're paying attention. So here's our first set of questions. Let's move it over here so you can see it all of them. So first three, true or false. If P is the midpoint of L and R, then LP and PR are congruent. Well, this would be true if I were to draw a picture real quick. I would have L, R, and P would be in the middle. Midpoint means that these are going to be congruent there, so I do know that this first one is true. Number two, vertical angles always have to be adjacent. Actually, that's false. Vertical angles are usually not adjacent. So we're going to go with a false on that one. Okay. A linear pair always forms a straight line. That is true. A linear pair is two lines that form a straight line, hence the word linear. Pair means two of them, so that in fact is true. Okay, so you're gonna have three vocab on the first part of the test, so make sure you know your vocab. They're not gonna be the same vocab. Okay. Number four refers to our picture right here, so let's go ahead and do number four. How many planes? Well, you're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So there's 6 different planes on this, so we're just gonna write 6. Name the intersection of plane DEH and plane ABC. Well, ABC is on the top right here, okay, and DEH is right here on the side. So their intersection is going to be right along this line AD. So we're just going to say AD and make sure we label it as a line. Okay. Number 6, what three lines intersect point C? We have to look over here, but point C is right here. I see CG, BC, and DC. Okay, so those are my three lines. CG, BC, and DC. Okay. Number 7, we have vertical angles. So vertical angles we know are congruent. So if they're congruent to each other, we set them equal to each other. So 5x squared equals 125. To go ahead and do this, this is not a quadratic formula where we would factors because we only have an x squared. If I also have an x term, then we might try and set that up. But here I can actually just divide by 5. I get x squared equals 25. Take the square root, and I get x equals plus or minus 5. Don't forget the plus or minus. Whenever you take the square root of a number, it can give us a positive or a negative factor, because both those multiplied to each other would give me the right answer. So there we go, plus or minus, and then it says find the measure of ABC. Plug it back into ABC. Well, if this is 125, don't you think this is also going to be 125? You betcha. So the measure of angle ABC is 125. All right, next one, number 8. 8 caused people some problems. This one was a little tricky. Okay, first we got to draw a picture here. Q is between P and R. So let's go ahead and draw our picture. P and oops, sorry, that's an R. And Q is somewhere in between. We get 3x squared, x squared plus 14x, and this whole thing's negative 40. Okay. Well, what we got to do is got to go ahead and set the two small segments equal to the large segment. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to get 3x squared plus x squared plus 14x equals negative 40. We're going to move everything over here, and when we do that, we'll be really happy to get this into a quadratic equation. So we can get 3x and x squared makes 4x squared plus 14x, add the 40 over, set equal to 0. Now it would be really ideal to go ahead and make sure that this is divisible by 2, everything. So we can go ahead and divide everything by 2 on this side and everything by 2 on this side. We end up with 2x squared plus 7x plus 20 equals 0. I can try and x factor this, split the middle term on this, but no two numbers are going to give me 40 and 7. 2 times 20 gives me 40, and 7 is right here. But no two numbers can do this, so this is not factorable. Okay? That doesn't mean it's not possible to solve. So what I want to do here is I want to go ahead and just put in what information I do know, which is the quadratic formula. So there we go. There's a quadratic formula. We have my a value, my b value, and my c value. So let's go ahead and plug those in. Negative b is going to be negative 7 plus or minus the square root of 7 squared minus 4 times 2 times 20 all over 2 times 2. Okay, I always like to do this part first, so we're going to get 49 minus 4 times 2 is 8. Okay, 8 times 20 is 160, square root plus or minus negative 7 all over 4. This is going to be 49 minus 160. We're going to be left with 111. That's going to be negative plus or minus negative 7 all over 4. This right here is a problem. We have a negative. I gave you this one on purpose as a tricky one. Your question on the test will not be like this, but this one's tricky. We have a negative. That can't be. So the answer to this problem actually is no real number. Okay, there's nothing real that we can do about it. Okay, and I hate to say this, but you know what? There's a nice little dead giveaway in the very beginning of the question. Let's take a look at what that dead giveaway was. Da, 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 da. You're trying to tell me the length of PR is negative 40 units? Pretty sure we can't have negative length. So this should have been a dead giveaway that we're probably going to run into some problems most likely. And guess what? We did. So there you have it. Okay? So that was a lot of work to say no real number. Is that what you're going to see on the test? Nope. Alright, let's move on to number 9. Number 9, we got a nice little picture here. It says BC is is bisecting this angle right here. So take a second to soak that in. Okay, hopefully you pause the video. If not, pause it now. Okay, we're going. BE. Go ahead, and it bisects, which means these two angles are congruent. Now we're going to put in the information we know. 4x minus 17, 2x plus 9, and then this is 4y plus 30. Okay, so those two angles are congruent. So if they're congruent, we should set them equal to each other, which we did. Move everything in the correct order. The 2x needs to go over here, and we need to add the 17 to the other side. Hiya, hiya. We're left with 2x equals, this is going to become 26. X equals 13. It says find the values of x and y. I found x. Well, this is 13, so I got to plug it in here. When I plug 13 into here, I'm going to get 2 times 13, which is 26, plus 9, which gives me 35 degrees. So both of these are 35 degrees, which means that would be 70 degrees total. If I add 70, what would I have to get to add to 180? I do know that this whole thing is going to equal to 180 degrees because it's a straight line. So essentially I'm going to get my final equation to be 35 plus this angle right here, 4y plus 30 equals 180. Okay, 35 plus 35 is 70, plus 30 is going to give me 100. Subtract it, I get 4y equals 80, y equals 20. And there's my two answers. Womp womp. Womp 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 womp. How fun. Next. Whew, there's a lot of work. Find a line that's parallel and goes through this point. First of all, we got to find the slope. So we're going to go ahead and subtract the 4x. Got to solve it for y. Divide by negative 2. And we're going to get y equals 2x minus This doesn't really matter, but here's my slope. Parallel, so same. So I'm going to take the point up here and the slope right here and put it into point slope form. Y minus y1 equals slope. I already know it, so I'm just going to plug it in. X minus x1. Y1 is going to be negative 3, so we get y minus a negative 3 equals 2x minus 2. Okay, two negatives make a positive. We get y plus 3 equals 2x minus 4. And that minus the 3, we get y equals 2x minus 7. Okay, again, if I'm going too fast, slow me down via the pause button and rewind. A line has an x-intercept of 6 and a y-intercept of negative 2. It says graph if you want. You can graph, but we got to find the line still. Well, I'm a smart guy. I know that an x-intercept has a 0 for a y value, and the y-intercept has a 0 for an x value, which gives me 2 points, which I can use to find slope. We'll call this x1, y1, x2, y2. And we can go ahead and solve. Here we go. This is going to give me 6 plus 0 divided by 2 and 0 minus 2 divided by 2. Well, it's plus and negative 2. So I'm going to get 3 and... Oh, wait, why am I doing midpoint formula? Psychedelic. Just kidding. Not doing midpoint. I'm doing slope. So that's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. There we go. My bad. Y2 is negative 2 minus 0 over x2, which is 0 minus 6. It's going to give me negative 2 over negative 6, which turns out to be a positive 1/3. So here's my slope. M equals 1/3. I have my slope, I have my y-intercept, so I can actually plug this into slope-intercept form. 1/3 here, negative 2 here, fill in the y and the x, and Mr. Smith is done. Not too bad. Questions? Nope, you can't ask questions because this is a video. One-way information. Alright, moving on, we got to graph some lines. So I have to go ahead and grab my ruler real quick, so I'll be right back. Alright, I'm going to super graph here. So watch how fast I do this. Y equals negative, positive x, that's going to be 1 over 1, negative 2. So start at negative 2, go up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1, oh, wow. Okay, that's line 1. Look at this ruler I have here. Am I just the fanciest guy in the world or what? Line 1. Next. Okay, negative 2 again, but this is down 1 over 1. So this is going to be a negative slope. Wow. Line 2. Can't see that one down there, but it's there. Next one, we start at negative 4 on the y. Okay, I can do that. Yeah, up 1 over 1. Graph it. Cha-cha. Yeah. Okay, and then that's line 3. Line 4 is at negative 4, but it goes, what, the opposite? Okay, so it goes down 1, back 1. And chua. Line 4. Okay, there we go. We got it. It's looking prime. Prime time. Let's see. Label our points. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. That's A. A. Okay, point A. What is point A? It's at 0, negative 2. Wow, this is going to be hard. Okay, 2 and 3 is B. Where's that? 1 and negative 3. Okay, plugging my points in right over here. C. Where's C? C is 3 and 4. C is at negative, 0, negative 4. And D must be this last one here, which is at negative 1, negative 3. Okay, there it is. Beautiful. Okay, moving on. Given that all 4 lines have created a square, find the perimeter and area of the bounded shape. Okay, so we got to find the distance first. So the distance is going to equal the square root of x2 minus, x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. Okay, so there's our distance formula. Well, the points are on the other side, so I'm going to actually use those points. So we're going to flip over, whomp, and I'm going to do the distance formula right here. Let's find the distance between A and B. Okay, so here we go. We got D equals square root. These are my 2 points, so I'm going to do x2, 1 minus x1, 0 squared, plus y2, negative 3 minus y1 squared. This is going to become 1 squared